Hello, and welcome to the Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Riche of the MHRT Network, representing my Denver Broncos here on the panel. Over that away, you have DZ representing his Los Angeles Chargers. And down below, we have Navman representing the Las Vegas Raiders. We got an interesting show for you tonight. Gonna do a bunch of recap actually on the start and kickoff, if you will, of the NFL Combine. What makes the kickoff to the NFL Combine so interesting, aside from the fact that we're all excited to see what kind of new talent we're gonna, maybe think about we might get or want to have or whatever the case may be. But to kick it all off, every single team, coaches and GMs, give their preseason kind of kickoff season presser at the combine. And almost always there are big nuggets of information on future, things of that nature. And let's be honest, if you paid attention to the pressers that just happened, this year was no exception. So, guys, how are we doing today?
Nav's on mute. Oh. Doing good. Doing good. Just I got a couple notes from kickoff from last week's show to this week's, but snow finally melted here. I guess can't say the same for you, Richie, but looks like we're in fall spring, but I guess it's supposed to snow tomorrow or the next couple of days here again. So the Mid-Atlantic where I live keeps you on your toes, let's just say.
Yep. For sure. It's no different here in eastern Tennessee. Snow, not so much, but the weather it changes hour by hour. This is one place that I've never want to be a meteorologist. I will tell you that. The one thing you can say is it's in the mountains and it's not May yet, so therefore it's going to be snowing. But when you're down where I'm at, with mountains all around you and then water all around you, you just never know. I just know that it's about to start pouring here in about an hour. I mean, pouring. So it's about 55 outside, and here in the shop, it's almost 70. So we're good.
So, Emily, yes, behind me is a green screen, although there is some comedy about the green screen that's behind me. If you just took out the mountains from behind me there, outside my window, quite literally, is almost a mirror image of what you see on the evergreens behind me, and that's exactly what's outside my window.
We've seen the picture, so he's not lying.
Yeah. So it's there is some comedy and all that, and the fact that I am definitely up north, and I have an absolute just insane amount of snow right now.
Right. Can't see the mountains for the snow.
Here. Let's put it this way: there are like boulevard trees in my area that are covered almost to the top or to the top, and it is that much snow.
That's a lot of snow, bro. That's a lot of snow.
Yeah. So, anyways, it is what it is. But we have, like I said, this is a very, very interesting time for every team in the NFL. You really have some interesting things going on. Nav, I think your team in particular is, obviously going through the most changes.
Right.
Probably out of all of ours, if I had to,
for sure.
Banner on it.
Without question.
On both sides of the ball, both defense and offense, and it's an absolutely fair comment to make that I expect some of it to work out and some of it probably not to work out, right? Like, I think that's a fair assessment of situations when you go through that kind of change. And then the real test of a good head coach is, are they willing to adapt and make the proper changes quickly enough to ensure that your team continues some form of forward progress and is able to turn things around?
Sure. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Doubt about it.
So, interesting stuff. I'm going to throw over to you, Nev, actually, to start things off with that, seamless introduction, and have you jump into your Las Vegas Raiders and talk about the pressers and also some news that there's some news that obviously came out over the course of the last little bit as well about your team. So just fill us in on all the things and we'll go from there.
Yeah, for the most part, the pressers, I think Spytek said exactly what he needed to say. And he made it very clear that Max Crosby is going to be a Raider. That he did not skirt around it. He did not hesitate when that question was asked. He did not hesitate a minute, not even a second.
I wish I could blow some smoke through here right now. I need like a smoke to go by as you just said that.
But the thing about it is, if things are that blown up, a young GM, only in his second year, should be stumped by it, unless he worked on it, knowing it was coming. But the thing was, he did not hesitate. He's one of the best players in the league, and he's our best player on this team. Yes, he's going to be a Raider beginning when the season starts. He said when the season starts, he's going to be wearing silver and black. I've always said that the best value you're going to get for Max Crosby is not going to be preseason. The best value you're going to get for Max Crosby is if we're not playing well enough and we need more pieces, and there's one team that needs one dude like Max to take them over the top, that's where the draft picks are going to come from.
So you think it's like a mid-season trade is not off the table?
No, I would say if he's going to be traded, that's how. Because the thing about it is he's had a major knee surgery and he still can't put weight on that thing. So any team that would just go out there and throw 2 first-rounders at him right now and a player on top of it is stupid, because you don't know how this is gonna work out, right? You assume the dude's gonna work through it, but is it at his age, which isn't crazy age, be 29, right, by the time season starts, but which is kind of what they say, kind of in their prime for an edge or a defensive end. But the thing about that is, Max, if he's going to leave the Raiders, he wants to go to a winner. So he's not – everybody in the preseason that has picks, for the most part, are people that are in as much dire strait as we are.
That's a good point.
So why would he even accept that? Why would he even think about it? But look, we just gave that dude his money, so he's restricted. He's restricted as his restricted gets, as far as team and player having to say okay on a trade.
So you were pretty much saying essentially a lot of wizardry would have to happen for anything to go together,
And I'll tell you what, if say the Jets said, you know what, we don't care about the injury, we'll give you two first rounders and both of them this year. You know what I mean? And
I think if the Jets called Nav, sorry to interrupt, but I think if the Jets called, Max would say, "I'm retiring. Please just leave me the F alone."
He would say, "I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm just not doing it. I'll stay here." That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like he's not. I don't think he's going anywhere until somewhere in the middle of the season, if the Raiders aren't improving and at least showing they can possibly sneak into the playoffs or something like that. Then maybe the Rams are like, if we just had that dude, I think we'd be able to get over the top.
I'd be sick.
You know what I mean?
If he went to the Rams.
If he did that, it'd be bad. It'd be bad for everybody. Yes, I agree with that. And that's the thing. When Spytek was asked that question, I went, oh, and he did not hesitate at all. So and Kubiak has been the same way. He goes, don't know him well enough yet, but he's the first person I met in that building, and it wasn't on purpose either. We just happened to have a cup of coffee together as I'm coming in to be introduced as the head coach. And they just know where game changers are. And people need to understand there's a difference between a defensive end and an edge rusher. The definition of edge rusher is Trey Hendrickson from the Bengals. It's all he does. It's it. You know, when your defensive line doesn't work right, like Max's hasn't all the way across, with the exception of one, which Ken asked me to address momentarily. That defensive end needs to be able to curl around and stop the run. He also doesn't give up on plays. So many tackles from behind that guy's made. You know, where he's chasing down a play when he didn't get to the quarterback, chases down a play, saves a touchdown, saves a massive run, and maybe it's only 8 yards instead of 30. There's several examples of that. He just doesn't give up on plays. Trey Hendrickson gives up on plays. So what kind of would be scary for the AFC would be him going to the Bengals, being on opposite Trey. That, to me, would be more scary than a lot of options there. That, to me, is a big deal. The Bills is another one. That would be bad. That's an over-the-top type of team that would probably go out and get him if they thought they were right there. So that's kind of the thought process with that. So Kenna asked, so in the presser, Kubiak kind of made clear what the defense is going to look like if the personnel is there. What the defense is going to look like, it looks like Robbie Leonard, we already kind of knew from his past that 3-4, 4-3 hybrid was kind of his, that's where he comes from, Flores and all those guys. You know, get to the quarterback with your front piece. Have good linebackers that can cover, and then a couple that can tackle when someone gets loose, like the quarterback gets loose or whatever. That being said, he asked me what offensive lineman or D tackle would be good for a 3-4, and I said Adam Butler needs to stay. There's no question Adam Butler needs to stay in the building. And then we've got a couple rookie guys that can get a freaking sniff, so we'll see what happens with them. But it's, again, well, we need a shit ton of linebackers, but we need to start with one. And my target is Devin Lloyd. Devin Lloyd's my target as that dude in the middle that can run a linebacker. Because if you're going to be a 3-4, your linebackers are running that defense. It's that simple. There's no question about it. And then it needs to be drafted in, and then we need to see if Eichenberg has any value to us at all that we drafted. And that type of stuff. This spring is going to be crazy. And I'm going to tell you what, March 12th, is cut day for a lot of dudes on this team.
Is that 11 and a half days legal tampering begins?
Yeah. Yep. So March 11th is the beginning of the league season for free agency, franchise tag.
March 9th is when they can start talking, I think.
Yeah, well, they can start talking March 9th.
Yeah.
March 11th is the day things can happen at, I think, 4 p.m. on March 11th or something like that. So
that's when you get your first wave.
Yep.
That's where the first.
That's when you get your first wave. Yeah.
And then I'm going to tell you what, it's going to be like me on a Saturday after I haven't gone to the dump in a couple weeks, where I have the whole back of my truck full of stuff to take to the dump. I firmly believe that there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be without a job about that time. So just to be out from under contracts, like Geno Smith, you got to wait for that. Otherwise, you're going to pay him this year and next year, and somebody's going to end up being a big part of what's owed to him. So I'm not really worried about him. He's gone. Now Kubiak did make an interesting. A lot of people didn't catch it. They mentioned Mendoza, and then he just said, if I were to bring a rookie quarterback in here, I wouldn't be scared to sit.
Yeah.
He didn't say Mendoza particularly, but that was the question. And then he goes, what I would have is a serviceable veteran quarterback that can go out there and run the team and mentor that rookie. And then at some point, that rookie would have to step up and go. He goes, I'm not interested in getting a rookie quarterback killed before he even understands what the NFL is. To me, there's one name pops into my mind that actually won't have to pay a lot, and that's Marcus Mariota. He knows what it is to be a Raider. He knows
that was not the name I was expecting, Nav.
If that's where they're going, but the thing is, the funny part is he didn't mention AOC in that. So everybody that's big AOC lovers and stuff, I'm sorry guys, but he didn't even mention them. Not even a mention of Aiden O'Connell, bro. So if he's a perennial QB too, Dan Orlovsky can tell you what that is. He goes, I'll hold the clipboard. Let's roll. If you need me, give me a holler.
Yeah, but the thing is that when you have a QB2, and if you are, let's just assume you're going Mendoza in the draft. Let's just assume it.
Yeah, it's assumed. Yeah, and for sure. No question.
You want a quarterback that can step in for Mendoza and not need to completely rewrite the offense in order to do it.
Exactly.
And look, trust me, I know enough of your fans, and I know enough of Captain Jack's fans. I know enough of Raiders. I know where your head's at. There's a good portion of your fan base that is, enamored with the potential that AOC had, but felt that he was never able to show it on the field. Right. I'm not discounting that at all. What I am saying, though, is he is not a dude you can plug and play with Mendoza.
No.
Mariota is much, much closer to Mendoza's style of play, and that makes some sense.
Exactly why it came to mind. And oh, by the way, he's worn the jersey. He knows the fan base. He knows all of that. And I don't think, is there anybody in here, Raider fans, that tells me they can't stand Marcus Mariota? I don't think there's any Raider fan that says I hate.
I think a lot of fan bases like Marcus Mariota, to be honest with you. I think a lot of people like him. This might be a stupid question.
Tennessee.
But
I don't think Tennessee likes him much.
I can see.
Right.
I'm not familiar, but has he played in a Kubiak scheme before, Mariota?
No, but
because that would be my only pushback. I would feel like that he would like to bring. Go ahead.
He's played in pretty much any scheme you can think of.
He's been around for a while. Yeah,
9 different teams.
Yeah, you're probably. Yeah.
I mean, you think about all the different coaches. He's had defensive head coaches, offensive head coaches, myriads of offensive coordinators. I mean, the thing about it is when you get a guy like that, that means he'll be able to process playbook because he's had to learn them over and over again. And he's not going to be the type of dude that's going to try to take it over and make this rookie sit for 3 years.
To see where quarterbacks go this offseason is going to be pretty wild. I don't know if you guys saw I think it was Malik Willis. I'm not 100, but like they're predicting him to get paid $30 million a year to go somewhere. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Not unproven, I guarantee it.
Wow.
I guess, there's a lot of crazy situations out there. I mean, you look at J.J. McCarthy. What's going to happen with this guy? Tua. What's going to happen with him? Kyler. What's going to happen? By no means want Kyler Murray anywhere near if we draft Frank or I call him Frank Mendoza. If we get Fernando Mendoza, I don't want Kyler Murray anywhere near that dude. I really don't. He's going to be in a prove it mode, not a teach it mode. So, and Kirk Cousins, he got far too much money left on his.
Wait, so Jack, I mean, Nav, so you think that Geno is just, they're going to be like, bye-bye, see ya. They won't have him be that? They don't think he's going to be the mentor?
None of the coaches have mentioned his name one time. That tells me he's not part of the Raiders. From what I understand, he hasn't been in the building since the last game of the season.
Yeah.
So I've been told that by several dudes. So he hasn't even walked his happy ass in the building, and he shouldn't. So he just collecting a paycheck until he goes to be a QB 2 or 3 for somebody else.
I just don't see who takes a chance on like Tua. I mean, I do see the appeal for Murray a little bit, but for Tua, like I'm like, it's tough for left-handed quarterbacks, man.
Yep,
you got to switch so much stuff up.
Only a few have been able to do it.
Yeah,
only a few. Some
have been pretty great, but you know
and the thing is, back in the day, it's receivers have a hard time with this when they now if they're drafted with a left-handed quarterback, they learn to spin the opposite way and how it's tailing away from them instead to them,
right?
And that type of shit. But if he just goes to another team that already has established receivers, that's going to be a problem.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it looks like, and Miami's cleaning house too, so he's they definitely probably want him gone.
I mean, they made him QB3 as a healthy at the end of the season, for crying out loud. I mean,
Tua's never healthy.
No, but I mean, he was healthy when they made him QB3 though. He was the number 3 quarterback the last
I'll
game.
admit it too. When it was draft time, there was a piece of me, because everybody hyped up tank for Tua. There was a piece of me who was like, "Oh yeah, let's get Tua," and boy, am I glad that never happened, because that poor kid, man.
Well, somebody the other day said that so there's a problem with Kyler Murray because he's kind of missed a step on his mobility. I'm like, well, he's done, because there's no way he could stand back there and be a pocket passer at his size. There's just no way.
I remember Doug Flutie when he came to the then San Diego Chargers. Every time he snapped the ball, he was having to like backpedal, like it was like a 9, 10, 12-step drop, and he was also like peeking over because he was so short, you know, having to look. And linemen weren't as big back then as they are now. So, it's Kyler Murray, man.
And the thing is, you can't do that in today's NFL. You cannot have a freaking 15-yard drop anymore. Because when you do that, whatever arm strength you have is diminished because by the time the ball gets 10 yards past scrimmage, the speed's already coming off the ball. You know,
that's a good point, Zigzag. I mean, if you got the wheels and the youth to do it, run around back there. But there's only a few guys that have that ability. Lamar's one of them. Kyler, you know.
It wasn't Fred, though. It was Frank.
Frank Tarkenton, yeah.
Fred. It's Fran. Yeah. Yeah, you got to be a little older to know that one.
Before my time.
But the problem with Tua though is, or sorry, not Tua, but with Kyler is he never truly developed the anticipatory throw to the extent that you need to for his size. So, like, as an example, you look at the shorter quarterbacks in the NFL that have actually done well. Doug Flutie was not a really tall dude, for example, but he had he could play football like quite well, actually. And
he had a cannon. He could throw the ball a mile.
Correct. And then I kind of obviously go back to the the guy that everyone's going to be thinking of, which is Ardell. Kind of then beat me to the second one, which is Drew Brees.
True. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but now hold on.
but-
Drew
but-
Brees, though, at least he's over 6 feet tall. At least he's over 6 feet tall. Now Kyler Murray, I don't think he's 6 feet tall.
I'm not convinced Drew Brees is over 6 foot.
Oh, hold on. We got.
We're gonna have to look this up. Who's doing it? You gonna do it, Nev?
I got it.
All right. I did want to say, who is it? I was listening to or watching some YouTube. I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, and he was next to Mendoza, or he said he talked to
6
him, or
feet even.
6 foot even.
Yep.
So Daniel Jeremiah was next to Mendoza, and he was like, man, I knew this kid was big, but he's a lot bigger than I thought.
Oh, he's a monster.
So yeah, looks like Mendoza is he's got that size, man. Sure.
So Kyler Murray's 5'10", and for a quarterback, that's way too short. I'm just saying. Yeah.
Us short kings have no shot at quarterback.
Ardell says allegedly. 6 feet allegedly.
I mean,
That's
look, you
kind of
put
where I'm
cleats
at with
on.
that. Like,
Yeah, but I mean, Kyler Murray is shorter than Drew Brees. You got to.
They measured Kyler Murray with cleats, shoulder pads, and a helmet on, and they're like,
Yeah.
these are his measurements."
He's 5'10". Yep.
So Nav,
Yeah.
I guess outside of Kubiak, I mean, you can include him. What are one of these coaching hires that you really were a fan of for bringing over to the Raiders?
Rick Dennison was one I liked. It was either him or Denton, and I knew they weren't going to let Denton go.
Is he what is he going to be doing?
Rick Dennison?
Yeah.
So, all right. Offensive line,
Okay.
offensive assistant. So the problem with Benton is you had to figure out a way to change his job title in order to get him over. Otherwise, it was a tampering lateral move type thing. I always thought just OC assistant maybe would do it, but I guess that's not enough.
So Matt seems to think that's your guys' O-line coach.
Yeah, it is. So line coach,
Okay.
but I was kind of like he probably a lot more of a assistant OC than he is actually. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Than anything else. So, but the thing about him is it's a lot of experience all over everywhere, and what I've made a key of is all these young coaches, right? Robbie Leonard at DC, right? You got Kubiak, brand new head coach, never been a head coach before. Right, granted, he's a play caller, right? Offensive play caller. Don't get me wrong, and that's logical progression. Robbie Leonard, logical progression. Next thing's DC, right?
Right.
And then offensive coordinator, obviously, right? So, but this offensive coordinator is going to be game planning, doing all the other things. And then there's these old heads and OGs and stuff that are assistants all over everywhere that are taking all the crap off Kubiak's plate so he can just be a coach.
From an outsider looking in,
Mike
I
McCoy's
noticed
a great pickup for me.
I noticed the Raiders staff last year,
Yeah.
and you do like the big four, and they did a comparison of the new guys. It is a much younger staff at the top, but what Spytek or however you Spytek and Kubiak, what they did is they brought in a mix of a lot of guys with a lot of experience.
Yep.
And they blended it in, and as an outsider looking in, it seems like a very smart move. What's going on in the Raiders? Something that I haven't seen the Raiders do in quite some time. It looks like somebody with something between the ears is pulling, making all the shots.
I'm pointing to Spytek one. I really am.
It has to be him because
Mike McCoy was brought in before Kubiak was hired. So Mike McCoy being the assistant head coach. Think about McDonald in Seattle, right? Do you guys know who his assistant head coach is?
Not off the top of my head.
Leslie Frazier,
Oh,
an OG,
yeah.
and a head coach. When young head coaches come in to be a head coach for the first time, they got to bring these dudes in there that can take all that head coaching crap off their plate until they can get acclimated to that crap, so that they can just coach instead of, you got to have that guy that's set, going, okay, you got a presser here, you got a presser there. Hey, this is where the offensive meetings are going on. This is what this is doing. Hey, what do you want to do during the OTAs? What's your game plan? Blah, blah, blah. I'll set it up. That type of stuff. That crap's important. So and I just like the way they do it. The only thing we're lacking right now is no kid and a quarterback's coach. So I don't know if we're going to actually have that guy, because Kubiak can be that guy, but I don't know. But I think there literally needs to be a quarterback coach in the room somewhere. We don't have that yet. So
that's surprising. I'm sure they'll figure that out.
Yep. It may be just one of those that they already kind of know who it is. It's a matter of figuring out how to bend the rules or whatever it may be to get them in. I don't know who it would be. Everybody wants to scream DC, that DC come play one game and then be the quarterback's coach to retire as a Raider. I mean, there's a lot of that stuff out there, and I mean,
I've seen that more than one spot, actually.
I guarantee it. Yep, yeah, yep.
Yeah.
The Saints would be smart because he's already said, I'm done here. They'd be smart just to freaking pay it out, or DC even say, don't pay me. I don't care. Whatever. I just don't want to be a part of it anymore. And if that's the way it goes down, then I could see that be a reality.
This would actually be an interesting one. He's thinking Gary Kubiak, I think.
Wow.
The thing with Gary is that he retired and stepped away.
Yeah.
For health purposes and health reasons, not like it was too taxing on him, and it was he had some issues, like some legitimate issues. So unless those have resolved, I think that's less likely to happen, actually. He's also been out of the game for a little bit, but I would say Gary Kubiak would be a great option for that. He's been a head coach. He can be leaned on for head coaching advice and things like that. And he was a backup quarterback, or just even if you weren't a fantastic quarterback, but had to actually work at it. Like Derek Carr needed to work at his craft to be an excellent quarterback, because he didn't necessarily have the biggest arm. He wasn't the most athletic. He didn't have all of these wild and crazy intangibles.
Yep.
So in order to be a good or great quarterback, he had to actually put in the work. He had to learn the craft. And those are the guys that actually make the best coaches, because they had to work for it, and therefore they needed to learn, and then they can pass it on to others.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that think Orlovsky is going to come out of ESPN and start coaching.
You don't want that.
So I mean, there's a lot of people doing that, and Philip Rivers is another one.
Yeah.
Probably
Rivers' son just got into NC State. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's gonna. I wonder what he's gonna do. He still has other boys that are, I think, going into high school. So does he stay there?
Well, he's gonna have that happen for the next 50 years.
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, but I do think that Rivers would make one hell of a coach in the NFL. But I wonder if he probably takes that step. Maybe he just goes to college next, and then the NFL. But who knows?
Do you think Mendoza is going to talk that same dad burn smack, like Rivers?
Kind of. They
Dak
kind of
Burn
look like they're cut from the same rug.
Look, I'll tell you what. He did throw the F-bomb after the national championship, though.
I don't think I've ever heard Rivers.
Mendoza did.
He's never cursed ever.
Yeah, but no, but he's saying Mendoza. I think Mendoza is like cut from the same rug as Rivers is.
Yeah.
So if he already said the F-bomb, I mean,
well, he said it in a moment of, I mean, because he hardly ever drinks. He goes, I'm gonna get up with my boys.
Good for him, dude. Let it loose.
Yeah.
Right.
Jake, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but your kid count for Rivers is wrong.
Yeah.
No.
He got to go up a little
10
more.
kids. Yeah, you got to go up a little bit more. He's got 10 kids. You gotta raise that number, my man. You got to raise that number.
And they have a turkey bowl for Thanksgiving. Like it's like
10 and counting, because isn't the youngest one like a baby?
He's already got grandkids.
One of the kids has grandkids.
Yeah, he's a grandfather already.
Has kids. Yeah.
We had a grandpa playing in the NFL last season. That's something pretty wild, man.
I looked up. I'm like, hey, is a grandfather ever played in the NFL?
Yeah, let's friggin' fluff and go. This is Bleacher Report cartoon. Let's friggin' fluff and go.
Let's friggin' fluff and go. Yeah, Dag Nabbit. Yeah. The Raiders' biggest problem.
Look,
Davis.
Look, I think the big one here is someone else in the NFL, and I'd be great if it was even Mendoza. Someone needs to make a bolo tie return.
Who's got the? Didn't Aaron Rodgers do that? Like, who's got the cojones to do that? You know, it started. Somebody made it for him. Somebody in San Diego, a fan, made him a bolo tie, and he just made that his thing.
Yeah.
And then he got his rattlesnake boots on, and he just made that a thing because, I mean, he's from Alabama. I don't know if Alabama is known for bolo ties, so he made it.
Can you address Corn 1999 over here? Who does he belong to? Which one of you guys does he belong to?
I don't know. Corn, who are you a fan of, buddy? Well, wait, but I do want to say this probably has to do with mostly just Raiders and Chargers fans. Probably some bad news on the Linderbaum front. Now, by my count, it was 9 teams. Now it's 10 because the news just came out that the Titans just cut Lloyd Cushenberry.
Mm-hmm.
And
wait a minute, what? No way.
After they just paid him, didn't they? They did he's only like 2 years in, or anyways, they paid him a ton of money and they're already ready to cut him. Well, this makes 10 teams to my count that are looking for center upgrades. And the team with the most cap space is the Tennessee Titans. And so they could be that team that's willing to up what the Ravens, because the Ravens have already come out saying, or these are the rumors, right, from legitimate quote unquote sources, that they are willing to break the market for Linderbaum with cap wizardry. So they're already offering that. Now for the Titans, they want a young, dominant center. They're willing to. They have the money to spend. He seems to be the belle of the ball. I know Nav has his, his thoughts on Linderbaum. I have the same. But it looks like it's going to cost quite a bit of money to get him on either one of our teams.
I just don't think in a position we're in, we need to spend that kind of money on a free agent and the offensive line, because we have unproven, untested, young players across the offensive line that we need to get time. They need playing time.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, all I want is average. I'm like, this is how bad I've been hurt these last couple years. Just give me average, please.
But you're a contender even when you're hurt. We weren't close. We need
I don't know if contender,
we need to be improved before we can contend. And you can't contend if you just burn all your money on free agents.
Yeah. That's
You
true.
know, you got to go out and get young talent. And now Linderbaum is young. Don't get me wrong.
I think he's 26 or about to
Yeah.
turn 26, something like that.
Yeah, he's barely outside of his window of a rookie contract. Barely.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing about it is, Kappa's gone. He hasn't even been talked about. March 11th, 4:00. Book it. It's gone.
Yeah. There's guys that I have the same thing, Nav, as I'm like, book it. These dudes are gone.
Yep.
They're gone.
Well-
Like, they're not scheme fits. Their play was dog shit last year, so they're gone. I've got like 5 or 6 of those guys. Luckily, one of them retired from my team, so they didn't have to.
I mean, it's going to be a fire sale come March 11th on the Raiders. All these 1-year deals and stuff, the ones that didn't quite prove it, they're gone, and they're going to be released.
Yeah.
So stand by. I mean, if you're looking for a Devin White, he'll probably be there. You know, if you're looking for an Landon Roberts, maybe he'll be there. Don't know. It's hard telling. It's going to be Kubiak's probably like wearing himself out, just going through tape, looking at these guys at this point before March 11th, because there's decisions have to be made.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
but the problem that you're going to run into with the tape on some of the guys that you have is the scheme that was run was probably not the right scheme for the players
Yeah.
that were there. And then on top of that, the coaching staff that was there was for sure in certain position groups not coaching the guys the right way in order to have them excel in their positions.
That's a good point.
And that is like that's got to be, let's put it this way, I am not envious of Kubiak and what he's got to do right now, because there will be probably 20 to 30% of the guys that he evaluates that he'll keep the wrong group and he'll let the wrong group go that will go on to another team and kill it. Right? Because you're ultimately guessing or making an educated guess in some regards, in some aspects, right?
There are a couple in the back end of the defense that I think we're keeping. Jeremy Chen's, he's going to be kept. He'll be our strong safety 2026. I have no question. First of all, he wasn't brought in on a prove it deal, and Eric Stokes killed it as our corner one. He absolutely played his ass off, and he played every single game. Started every single game. That's half the battle. Is just keeping him on the field, right? I mean, he was the dude on the number ones all the time. Had great stats, probably the best in his career. So, and he's young. There's no reason for him to go anywhere. But I'll tell you what, there ain't a whole lot of others that are going to be sticking around. I really feel like that they're going to just kind of, no pun intended, snowplow the defense.
Yeah.
So
especially if you guys are moving to that 3-4 hybrid scheme,
Yep.
that's
if they're on rookie contracts, they're staying
right.
without question. Okay, with the exception of one that we're not going to pick up the option. That'd be
So,
Tyree. Tyree's probably gone.
Real quick, so if you had any DNs who are on rookie contracts, what Leonard, your guys' new DC, he's probably already on the phone with them. Hey, dude, you're gaining weight and you're moving to the inside.
Yep.
That's what he's telling them.
Yep.
Because outside of Max and maybe I don't know who else,
Adam Butler,
maybe him, as
Kuntz,
your guys' outside
Kuntz.
linebacker edges.
and Malcolm Kuntz on the outside started showing something as he was getting healthier. I could see him staying as well, possibly.
But I'm just saying, like, say you're rookie guys, right? So, like, if any of those guys are DNs or whatever, they're like, dude, you're gaining weight, you're going inside because that's no longer your job.
Well, and that would be the only way I think Tyree Wilson's kept is if he goes to the inside.
That's actually
I don't
point.
I don't
Is he
think
still under contract?
Yeah, he was a freaking first round.
Well, like 2 years ago?
4 years ago.
So this might be his last.
This is his final year coming in 2026.
Oh, and then
which
they
is
still have the
option.
5th round option too, right?
Yes, and the 5th-year option.
So they technically could have 5
Yes.
years to mess with this kid. So I guarantee you they're probably telling this guy, hey, man, we've got some plans for you. So you're going
Cut
to now
inside, get over there next to Adam, see what happens.
Yep. Because, yep. That's going to be kind of neat. All right.
Because the dude has push. He just doesn't have to get him.
Yeah. You need
So-
yeah. Huh.
And Malcolm Kuntz, being in that position on that other side, actually started showing some get off and actually started killing.
I will say though, Nav, this is a really good edge draft, and I think the Raiders have 10 picks.
Oh yeah, and probably going to be more than that by the time it's all said and done.
Yeah, so you guys could be just being like, "See you later" to a lot of folks.
Yeah, we have 3 in the 4th and a comp pick.
Yeah.
On top of it, so I mean it's
gonna be a fun draft for for Raider fans.
We have 2 in the 2nd currently.
Okay. Transition.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, let's jump on over and talk about the Chargers there, DZ, in terms of your coaches and the comments and the things.
Yeah, man.
Talk about nuns' boobies.
So, yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up. So, Chargers fans got a pleasant surprise. The writing was on the wall, before cuts, but Bradley Bozeman, the center, decided to retire. And I kind of think he played 8 seasons, if I'm not mistaken.
That was last year was his 9th, I think.
Okay.
I looked it up. Yeah.
Okay. He decided to retire, and I got a feeling that the staff said, hey, man, you're not part of the plans with this new scheme next year. And so, he's outside of football. Yeah, outside of football, him and his wife do some really good stuff. They're really into charity. So I bet you that he's probably going to focus his time on that. And to be honest with you, I wish him well in his next endeavors, or if he continues his charity stuff, like rock and roll, man, power to you. But, he has been pretty bad as a center for the Chargers these last 2 years. And him retiring, I think, saves them some money. And per Spot Track, the Chargers jumped the Raiders in cap space. Now we know this is just going to keep changing like this. It's going to do this, until it doesn't. But per Spot Track, as of yesterday, the Chargers are up to $88,150,325 of cap. So they're right below or right in front of the Raiders. Who knows? I've seen projections where teams are up already at 100 because people are projecting cuts, but this is what it is before cuts and whatnot. Now, combine wise, the Mike and Joe Ortiz, the GM, and Jim, they were in Pat McAfee today, and they're doing their usual coach speak stuff. So there wasn't really too much to pick up off of what the GM said. There was some stuff like that Joe Ortiz talked about, like with all this cap, people are like, they better go out and spend. And, they're going to have to spend, but the way he was talking about, he's like, I got to spend this wisely. I can't just go out there and recklessly spend. And, they were able to make that trade last season for Odafe Owe because, they had that money that they went into the season with to pay him. So I got a feeling that they're going to probably they're going to have to do this wisely because it's looking like right now that the whole interior O-line of the Chargers is going to have to be replaced. Or, Zion Johnson's a free agent. Bradley Bozeman just retired. And the writing's on the wall for Mekhi Becton to be cut, dunzo, be gone, see you later. Because this new scheme that they're running is going to be similar to what Nav's Raiders are going to be running. It is a wide zone scheme. And for the O-line, that requires athletic linemen, not your really typical maulers. It's more of an athletic type, kind of what Richie's got for his Broncos. They need to have reach block ability, lateral quickness. They need to have some intelligence, kind of things between the ears for these combo blocks. So these O-linemen change in this scheme. And, I think it's almost up to 9 offensive linemen. They're going to have to, switch, get new ones, I guess, new starters and then depth pieces. And that $88 million is going to get eaten up pretty quickly. So I don't envy that job of trying to fill these positions. I think they can do it with a combination of free agency and the draft, obviously, but we'll see. Now, Richie did ask, like two of our, you're talking about the same type of, no. What did he say? You're talking about the same type of, I don't know what Cleveland's scheme is, though.
Yeah, it is a base 4-3.
No, on the offensive side.
Oh, on the offensive side. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure.
All right. Well, they haven't had a quarterback to really even think of to try to understand what offensive blocking scheme or whatever they need to do. So they're a shit show when it comes to that. But breaking news on that, heard from 3 different sources today that Deshaun Watson is the front runner as the starter for the Cleveland Browns coming into the end of the offseason and OTAs and all that stuff.
Look, if you take off of all his BS off the field, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that dude was pretty awesome in Houston for a couple seasons.
In 2020.
Yeah, but cheers. So if they can get any resemblance of that back,
you got to try. You have a bunch of money invested in. You got to try. This is the last year. This is last year for him. This is his prove it year. To be honest with you, in the NFL.
Yeah, they'll say they'll have Shedeur Sanders and him compete. And to be honest with you, I think Watson should win it quite easily. I'm not a big fan of Shedeur Sanders, but
but he, the thing is, you have these 2 dudes that you drafted. Right in. What do you do with them?
They don't even mention Dylan Gabriel. I think that's kind of
ever mentioned.
Yeah,
I know, it's crazy. Sorry to interrupt you, but
no, that's totally fine, dude. So Richie kind of asked us, 2 of our favorite kind of coaching replacements or hires that we've made. I've got 2, and it's kind of similar to Nav's. One of my favorites is the new O-line coach, because why not? There's no secret that we needed a new offensive line coach, new offensive lineman. Butch Berry, he's coming over with Mike McDaniel. He was Mike McDaniel's offensive line coach in Miami. He actually worked with him with the Niners. I've got all these tabs pulled up. I could pull up and go more in depth, but the thing I like about Butch Berry is just when you dig into him is that he's actually been able to develop guys. They weren't giving him a lot to work with in Miami, and he was able to develop these guys. And from what I've seen, from what Miami fans have had to say, they're like, great, now that we had a guy who was getting these guys going, he's gone. So it's like, so I kind of like that, because Mike Devlin, who was the Chargers O-line coach these last 2 years, who came in with Harbaugh, he didn't develop anybody. We had guys come in, and it was piss poor. We had to get vets off the street who probably told this guy, hey, dude, you don't have a clue what you're effing talking about, and just leave me alone and let me do what I do. And
I'll tell you what, DZ, though, Slater and Alt healthy is a good start.
It is. And, there's like a caveat to that. because that's one of the talking points that all these people are talking about this whole offseason, and the fans included. And they're like, get Slater and all, healthy Slater and all. And the caveat to that is we don't know what type of
we lost Richie, and
he's probably got
did he fall asleep, or did he because he looked like he was sleeping, but he was actually frozen.
He's probably rebooting.
Okay, got it.
But with Slater, we don't know what type of player he's going to be coming off of this injury. So I've got to put a little bit of pause on Rashawn Slater. But when they're healthy, those two guys, you can put them plug and play them in any scheme. They're going to be fine. They're just they are some. I saw some blue chip comment. They are a blue chip type of player.
Yes.
Now I'm going to go with another one, and it's the most obvious hire that the Chargers made this offseason. It was Mike McDaniel as the new OC.
That was amazing.
It was a good get. Now, the reasoning is Greg Roman. The Charger fans were warned by Ravens fans about Greg Roman, and I gave them a benefit of the. looking in the backstage. See what Richie's doing. Greg Roman needed a. You good, Rich?
The internet knocked out just for like 5 minutes there.
Yeah.
Oot. You knocked out.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
But with Mike, he, these are some notes I kind of wrote about him. Is he runs like a modern Shanahan tree offense. He started out with I think it was Kyle or the guy that used to coach you guys, Shanatan, the dad.
Mike.
Anyway,
Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, I used to call him Shanatan because that dude was just like he looked crispy. But he runs a modern Shanahan tree offense, wide zone, but modified with speed, motion, and RPO elements. Stretch run game, horizontal displacement of the defense, cut back lanes for running backs, O-line blocking with lateral flow, and combo climbs for secondary blocks. Forces second-level defenders to overrun plays. Therefore, it sets up the pass game. So it's going to be quite different from what you guys have seen from the Chargers these last 2 years on the offensive side of the ball. Just reading some stuff. Another thing about this O-line, and this is kind of in combo with Butch Berry and Mike. Yes, he did. He was well, he actually technically started out as like an assistant, like a intern, but I think
ball boy. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Broncos were like
stuff like that.
I think that was like his team growing up anyways, because he is a Colorado native.
Yeah.
This new O-line, God damn, there's so many stats I can go through, but this show would be hours long.
Well, you think about it when the blue chip thing was asked. That was aimed at me, but I mean, I want it on you. Amarian Hampton is next level generational running back. That dude is a stud.
Let's just say I'm pretty stoked for him, but it's gonna be interesting to see if they bring in any other guys, because they've got Kamani Vidal and Jarrett Patterson. They call J-Pat. They got those two guys who could probably round out that room. I'm sure they'd like to bring in another guy. Supposedly Najee Harris is healthy, but I've seen fans already shut that down. Coming off that Achilles, he's already posting workouts.
Achilles running back?
Yeah, exactly.
My goodness.
But I'm going to go back to this O-line that I'm kind of fascinated with is this new scheme. It improves play action, your play action depth. reduces long developing pass dropbacks, which that's Justin literally that's what his MO was last season.
Mhm.
And it marries the run and pass better than the previous schemes that he's been under in the NFL.
Right.
Being under, that was Lombardi, Kellen Moore, Greg Roman, now Mike McDaniel. So, yeah, I'm excited to see this. How it's going to come to play, I don't know. I guess, they've got the pieces on offense to kind of get it going with, they've got QJ, they've got Trey Harris, who really they weren't asking much of him, but that guy's an up and comer in my opinion. The lad who had a down year with the addition of Keenan Allen, they say they want Keenan back. They've got KLS, who would kind of be that speed for them. We'll see. Nav mentioned Omari and Hampton. And then they have Oronde Gatz in the tight end. Now, that's another room outside of the offensive line that's going to need a lot of work.
Yeah.
Right now, it's only Oronde Gatz, and he'll be going in his second year. And it seems like they're going to probably just bring back maybe Tucker Fisk, who was a hybrid fullback tight end. And it sounds like maybe that Scott Matlock experience or experiment is going to be over with, and he'll probably just be on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see what happens with Geno. I mean, if he gets cut, I see him going to another team pretty quick because of his experience.
We'll take an $18 million dead cap hit, but it won't affect 2026. It'll affect 2027.
Yeah, but
the other team will have to eat $8 million, and there will be the cap going up. Will pretty much eat the rest. So, and we'll have a little bit over top of it. I think the cap's going up 20 million. So
I don't think I think I see Raider Paul saying AOC is going to be back up. I think all your guys' quarterbacks are gone. I think it's Mendoza and a fresh start. I don't think they keep any of those guys.
Unless we pick up a free agent veteran quarterback, AOC I think will be in the building QB3, QB2.
Maybe emergency quarterback, how they've done.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But for the two coaching wise, I'm pretty thrilled with the additions on the offensive side. That being said, coming up for the draft, it's going to be what do they do? Do they go O-line round one, or I have a prediction. I think they go defense because they haven't made a defensive pick since 2018 in the first round. And with Chris O'Leary taking over for Minner, I think Jack asked a question a long time ago, what he said, what kind of defense are you guys running? I'm like, I didn't get a chance to answer him, but it's going to be a Minter style, the same thing, but Chris O'Leary is just going to put his flavor on it. He thinks he's going to want to do some things his way.
Exotic defense. He's known for the exotic blitzes, like from where you don't expect them to be from.
Yeah, that's Minter did the same thing. Cornerback blitzes, things like that. Look, there's going to be some similarities between our teams style-wise. Yep. Wide zone offense. You guys are going to 3-4. Huh.
Yep.
Shoot.
3-4, and he said if the personnel permits 3-4.
Yeah, because you need some dogs, man. Those D
we
tackles,
need linebackers in order for that to happen.
Linebackers, but I don't want to say but more importantly, but you need guys who can take on double teams, stay square, and they have to eat up a lot of space in the middle and let your outside linebackers, aka edges, go to work.
Right.
But look, you guys have a lot of money. You guys have a lot of picks, and no one's expecting you guys to be contending for the Super Bowl this year. So there's going to be some patience with this new regime and quarterback to build this team up. So it's, Rome wasn't built in a day, right?
Right. Well, that's kind of why with Linderbaum, I'm kind of like, why would you? because from what I just got several reports on is the Ravens offered Linderbaum a market setting extension.
Right.
So market setting for a center.
Yeah.
What is that number? What do you guys think?
I think it's 25. That's
25
like wide receiver money. That's a lot of money.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like
when we already have a center in the building, I have a hard time with that.
Right. With JPJ, I completely agree with you.
I just really do.
Like it's hard for me. Look, I'm not a GM, but as a fan, I'd be like, look, if they got Linderbaum, that'd be great. But I know they'd be paying him a lot of money. Yeah.
For you,
but
hell yeah.
What that does when you get when you can get an elite center, right? Like top of the league center, you could afford to have, I don't want to say subpar, but you don't have to have, you can have okay guards.
Yes.
And that will bring up their level of play. Now, say if you have a subpar center, you need a damn good guard, or one of those guards needs to be really good.
They need to both be good.
Yeah. Because, that's kind of my fear, because I really like some of these centers coming up in this draft. There's some guys that you can get later rounds. And I'm like, man, do you draft a rookie center, throw him out there, and then get some free agent guards, or bring back Zion? I know Zion's a hot name within.
Look at that. Can you put that back up there so DZ can see it?
It's our AA meeting.
It's a division meeting. We do it every Wednesday. Except we never get a Chiefs host in here that's got a set of nuts to even be here.
We should just put up another square that just says "Help Wanted." Like
we should do that.
Help wanted. Please, wanted. Require within.
With a Chiefs helmet on.
Yeah, just a Chiefs logo, like help wanted. Yeah. Where'd they go? Come on.
Help wanted. Inquire at Richie.
So what today was kickers only, right? That reported, I guess, or where they did their thing.
Kickers, punters, and long snappers, all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's probably about it. Chargers news. Richie, what's going on with your old Raiders? Oh my God, Broncos.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Somebody cut that quickly.
Well, anyways, we did have a Chargers guy. No, so the Denver Broncos had some interesting news. Obviously, it really was interesting. Actually, like the Broncos, I think probably had some of the meatiest pressers out of most teams, because Sean Payton is known for being the head coach and an offensive play caller, and a pretty darn good one at that, if we're being honest. Like, it's just
he's got the history to back it up.
Yeah, like this is not one of those disputed things. Like, you can not like his attitude and the way he speaks and whatever, that's fine, good, whatever, but like, he's a darn good play caller. So what we saw come out of this past season was Davis Webb was given an opportunity to call a couple preseason games for the Broncos, and Sean Payton had a plan, and he admitted this is in the presser. Like, he actually said it in the press conference. His plan was to phase Davis Webb into the play caller role over the next couple seasons. The league had other plans. He was not going to be given the time to phase Davis Webb into the play caller role. And the 2-year time horizon that was, I think, initially put on it, or somewhere in that vicinity, got compressed into like an off season. And so Sean Payton wanted to kind of like ease himself out of it, make sure he was there to support Davis Webb, that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, it just didn't work out that way. He had to kind of accelerate that timeline to ensure
You're
that
alluding because he
Davis.
was a hot commodity, essentially, is what you're
Oh,
saying.
the guy had like 4 different teams interviewing for
Right.
his
So you're
services,
saying
and
that 2-year
yeah,
plan went out the window because everybody else was ready to poach him from you guys.
oh, 100%, 100%, and frankly, Davis Webb sticking around on a 13-win team in the 2025 season, coming back into 2026, if he can level up the offense with some of his own stamps on things and scheme changes and that sort of stuff to kind of like accelerate things on the offensive side of the ball, he could well be a head coach candidate, potentially, even if the Broncos continue on our trajectory that we came off of this year. And if there's a marked improvement on the offensive side of the ball, because that'll just add to the kind of the lure that would then the lore rather that would be around him in terms of like he teams wanted him last year, but man, like the dude turned the offense around for the Broncos in like one season where they went from like middle to maybe better. That would be a huge draw for teams for sure. So anyways, that
Can,
was a
may I ask a question with
yeah.
with what you just said there? So Sean Payton makes me think that maybe he wants to have a little bit more thought process in the entire team and turn that over to Davis Webb so that
He said that already.
he can focus more on everything.
He said that already.
Oh, did he? Okay. All right.
He said that already. So as part of if I'm looking at the press conference and if I'm looking at kind of what was taken up within it, a solid 15 minutes of that press conference was spent on the Davis Webb thing. And part of the other elements that went into it, I'll just kind of give you kind of quick bullets and stuff on it. He wanted Davis Webb to be the play caller, sped up timeline. He's been working with Davis Webb to kind of bring him up into that role. He had conversations before any coaching decisions were made during the season with ownership to say we can't let him leave the building. And he mentioned that in the presser as well about Davis Webb, Sean Payton, and that was in the press conference. And then Sean Payton did say that his goal is to kind of be more involved in all of the elements of the team, more so now than just the offensive side. And I think part of the reason for that is I think Sean Payton's wanting to see the special teams of the Broncos step up a little bit more, start getting into some better blocking schemes, maybe some more creative plays to kind of spark things in the games. Like you saw Sean Payton try to use special teams as an extension of the offense at times this year. And I think that Sean Payton wants to see maybe a little bit more of that kind of stuff where, in certain games and certain times during games that he kind of would like to turn special teams into an extension of the offense. And I think that's a pretty exciting thing for a team to have a head coach with some creative vision in that regard. And then he also has mentioned about wanting to push the defense a little bit more himself to step in alongside Vance Joseph and try to find ways of encouraging defensive turnovers.
I did see you guys got another defensive hire, just a late one with Vance Joseph.
Yeah.
See that one? I think he was coming from Colorado or something.
Yeah, I can't remember the name. There was someone that was coming in. They were in the interview process. My understanding is that the last change is going to be coming in within this week. So I have to relook up the other additions and stuff, but there's one or two folks that are still in the interview process, and that was also mentioned in the press conference by Sean Payton. as well.
Oh, you guys are hiring Colorado defensive coordinator Robert Livingston.
Yeah.
As your
Yes.
guys' as okay, so he worked with Vance Joseph. So okay.
Yep, you are correct. Although I'm not gonna lie, you may have found like the one rogue Canadian that like doesn't really give a crap about hockey.
He's coping.
And trust me, I no, I really am not. um, I didn't even
people took
realize the
this
men's.
seriously up north, man. Richie, there's some people
Oh,
on
dude.
like you need some like
Dude,
medication or something.
dude, I am not saying that I am by any means even remotely close to the norm. I'm just simply saying that I didn't even realize that the men's had played until one of the Bolt Bros messaged me and said, "I'm sorry for the loss."
You're like,
And I was like,
what?
"What? Huh?" And then I looked it up. I was like, "Oh, we lost. Okay, that sucks."
I mean, it was a close game. OT, like the Canadians were the better team. They had way more shots, but the USA's goaltender was freaking fantastic. And then they had that OT goal, which I agree with what people are saying. I'm not a fan of 3-on-3 and OT, like especially big games like that. It should go back to the normal. The NHL adopted that. They went to 3-on-3 to like speed up the OT process during the regular season, and then it changes back in the playoffs. But I will say this: Russia, without Russia competing in the Olympics, you can't really call yourself the best hockey team, because when you leave them out, it's usually been Russia, Canada, Finland, these teams, Sweden, US. So maybe by next Winter Olympics they're allowed to come back, but I'm not sure.
But I heard at some point that I think Crosby was knocked out as well. He didn't even play in the finals. So I mean, little things like that is like the equivalent of like Bo Nix not playing in the championship game, right? Which is like you're not really at full strength if like one of the best players isn't really on the field, kind of deal, or on the ice in that regard. So it is what it is. But whatever. It's in the past. I can move on. But it is obviously a big deal for the U.S. team, because I think it's been, what was it, like the
1980,
70s or something? It's like
1980.
I know it was. Yeah, like let's put it this way. That's a long stretch for like to be out of it. You know what I mean?
Next month I turn 55. I was 9.
But that 1980 team was 10 times more special than what just happened, because that was those were college kids going against the Soviets who played together for like a decade.
But it wasn't for the gold, though. That's the difference.
Yeah. That was to get them to the gold.
That was to get them.
Yeah, but this is what's weird. I know we shouldn't be switching sports, but like I'm wondering if they like go back to a different scheme for the next Olympics in hockey. Do they just go back to like semi-pros or college? They get rid of the pros.
I'm going to tell you right now, that would not be fair.
Meaning,
that would not be fair. So the European guys would largely field most of the same dudes that are playing if they went in that regard. But I'm telling you right now that the top feeder league, and it's not even close, for the NHL is a hockey league in my home province called the OHL.
Yeah.
And like I'm telling you right now, when you go and see an OHL game,
they're way better.
It's like I'm watching the NHL.
No, it's an ass whoop. Like what it is.
Oh yeah, like it's amazing.
I got to see something really cool. Like when I was like in my 20s, I was in Massachusetts, and the NHL had a lockout, right? Like they were like pretty much locked everybody out. And so a lot of hockey players are like, what the hell do I do? So they went down. It wasn't the OHL at the time, but it was another league. They went down into leagues, and I went to this
Central CHL, Central Hockey League.
It was some other league. It was in
Yep.
Lowell, Massachusetts.
Yep.
And so we went there. We're doing some work there, and they're like, we went to the locker room, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, these guys are so tall. These are huge men, dude. And these were pros. A lot of these guys were pros playing because they needed, news alert, hockey players don't make money like other, NFL and MLB. Only very few hockey players make big bucks. And it was some of the best hockey. And I'm a hockey fan. I watch a lot of hockey, but that was some of the best hockey I've seen to date because these guys were just banging. And it was just like, it's some podunk town in Massachusetts. It was pretty cool.
My favorite was the last time Canada and the U.S. squared off on each other. And they just dropped gloves like immediate on each other.
Yeah, Four Nations was pretty cool.
They just dropped gloves immediately. That right there, I was never a hockey fan until I watched that. I'm like, if they do that shit every single time, I'm good. It's like a mixture of like a sport, like a true sport game and UFC. Let's go.
Literally like one of the last. It's
MMA on ice.
Yeah, hockey is one of the last gladiator sports.
You might have something there. Bring a bunch of dudes.
Dana
like,
White. Dana White. I expect my royalties in the mail.
Here's my plan. Bones Jones.
Oh God.
And the dudes that are all retired, all these retired dudes,
teach them how to skate.
Let's see if they can skate, and if they can, we just want to beat the shit out of each other like the entire time.
I mean, they had a thing back in the 90s, I think, or the early. I think it was the 90s. ESPN. They had. Did you guys remember? They had like rollerblading hockey where they had ramps and they were like beating the hell out of each other.
Oh yeah.
Bring that
roller derbies. Back in the day, a bunch of ladies and rolling around there kicking the crap out of each other. It was amusing too. So just saying. Anyway, off we go.
So I'm going to go back. Yeah, I'm going to go back to the Broncos stuff. I'll summarize Peyton's presser, and then I will touch briefly on George Peyton's presser as well, because there was a lot of overlap, but there were some nuanced differences between the two. Bo Nix's health update. Sean Payton said that he is on track for a successful start to the 2026 season. Also cleared up the whole, he has an injury history thing. It's like, we have no concerns that he's going to come back healthy. He'll be fine.
All right.
That was a thing, for those that don't know, where there's a bit of a tiff between Bo Nix and Sean Payton. Sean Payton did what Sean Payton does and made an off-the-cuff comment, which was not entirely, I'm going to say not accurate, but certainly not appropriate. And there was a bit of a loggerhead issue there as a result. In addition to that, Sean Payton.
What are those 4 dashes for?
I don't know.
It might have started with an F.
I'm like reading that out in my mind. I'm like,
she will do something for hard hockey. Just saying, and it starts with an F.
Nan, can you be a little more descriptive, but PG wise?
Is that Anna? I think that's Anna, isn't it?
Die-hard hockey fan. Okay, cool. Who's your team?
Oh, okay.
I'm a Caps fan. Who's your team?
It's like, I'm sorry, I kind of went a little sideways on that first comment. Yeah. I was like, wait, the dashes? I'm like, you will do what? hard
So
hockey.
let me. I'm gonna bring this back here into Broncos land here. So we have Peyton that was mentioning two actually big position groups, which is you have J.K. Dobbins on the running back position, and we have Alex Singleton in the linebacker position. Sean Payton mentioned that both of those position groups were he deemed as top priorities for the Denver Broncos. Now, I don't believe that either J.K. or Alex Singleton are going anywhere. I also don't believe that the Broncos are going to need to break the bank to bring either of those two back per se. I think they're going to do right by Singleton and they're going to do right by JK. And I think that that's going to be our plan to solidify the room, at least to kind of stave off the exodus of players that may or may not occur. And I think that that is a reasonable expectation as a Broncos fan to have, given that sort of thing. The other one that they
You
mentioned, or
reminded
Sean
me
Payton
something
mentioned, is that
real quick, Richie. You reminded me
Yeah, go ahead.
something. Before you guys signed JK, the Chargers put that tender on him or something. You remember something kind of weird?
Yeah, and then they removed it. Yeah, and then they removed it.
Well, I think you signed with the Broncos. I don't know how it worked. Anyways, coming into this draft, it was the Chargers had 5 picks, but supposedly one of our beat writers, Daniel Popper, does a really good job. He projected, because of that JK thing, that the Chargers will get a 6th-round comp. So we'll actually end up getting 6 picks with this draft, which good news for us, but it had something to do with that whole JK thing. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep, that's possible. And then the other thing, just as a side note there, was staff finalization. Sean Payton said they're still interviewing a couple folks for a few positions. They aim to have that fully flushed out by the end of this week. And then one other position group that was, two other position groups that were specifically brought up was mention of the tight end position group with free agent departures. That obviously the needs at that position are a standout, glaring need for the Broncos, and that with the offensive line currently all under contract for this coming year, that the Broncos are simply looking. We're just simply looking to add depth. My comment there is I hope they're looking to do more than that, but we all know my thoughts on my own team's offensive line.
I think you guys make a play for somebody. I think you guys.
I think we do too.
I think you make a play for a weapon of some sort. That's my feeling.
Yeah. On the George Payton presser, I thought there were some interesting nuggets in there as well. He echoed Sean Payton's roster needs at both linebacker and running back. Echoed the offensive line continuity comment, just in terms of the fact that all of the 5 starters are all under contract for the 2026 calendar year. Also highlighted the backfilling of kind of depth and stuff as a piece there as well. And then the other piece here that George Payton mentioned, and we've mentioned it kind of in fits and spurts on the show here, but our contracts that we've been able to sign these very talented players to that have really shown out for our defense, we did so in a very controlled manner that did not put ourselves in kind of cap hell in any way, shape, or form. And George Payton kind of, maybe gave himself his own flowers, if you will, by basically calling that out in the press conference by saying, hey, we did great. And kind of, called that out. And then there's also some talk of George Payton on running back, linebacker, and also these are Sean Payton's words, looking for an explosive Joker style deep threat playmaker at the wide receiver position. We have, in fact, spoken about that on this show before for my Denver Broncos. Oh, and there was one other comment. The re-signing of Jaquan McMillan is a preference of the Denver Broncos. And I'd be very surprised if we didn't try to keep him and bring him back on a extension or a proper deal.
Did you see the projection for Riley Moss? It's like a 3-year, $41 million deal this offseason.
God damn.
Yeah, I don't know with.
I mean, didn't mean to say that out loud, but God.
Yeah, I don't know with who, but that's his projection right now is 3-year, $41 million deal. So it's a good chunk of change, man.
Wow.
I did note that I didn't see I didn't see any mention really of Riley Moss. I didn't remember hearing anything specific or like having it called out. One other thing that I will mention, just because we are kind of talking combine here and everything as well, is the Broncos interviewed a boatload of linebackers on day one of their interviews there at the combine there.
It's a good linebacker draft too.
Right. But here's the thing. You guys won't know this because you know this is my team and everything. The Broncos, the last 3 seasons, including the one prior to Sean Payton, although specifically the ones with Sean Payton as our head coach, if I'm not mistaken, we have not signed or drafted a single one of our interviews.
That is correct.
Oh, so yeah. So if you're talking to the Broncos, you're like, all right, I'm going somewhere else.
That is correct.
Yeah.
The Raiders, pretty much close to that as well. Except probably this year.
Yeah. Like, let's put it this way. You met with Mendoza.
Yeah.
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 And guess what? Guess what? Hold on. Just to put, you're also going to meet with him privately.
Right. But
you know, there's a shocker.
But it's one of those where it's like you interview with players and players and or coaches, and we hardly ever get the first coaches we interview either. You know, it's
right.
more of a dutiful thing, and players and interviews with quarterbacks. I don't think that they've ended up with any of them in the last probably 15, 20 years.
Yeah.
In the combine. So, I mean, this one probably is a no-brainer, is going to happen regardless. I cannot see a world where it doesn't. You know, it's obviously the interviews happen. So, I don't even. It's one of those where you're just kind of a hire by name. You just don't even go in the room.
Yeah.
You know, got you.
Yeah. So I'm looking at the overall presser. Nothing specific or surprised me. There was a few like nuggets in there that were interesting. You know, J.K. Dobbins being said as an aim to re-sign for the team, and it's rare for the Broncos to put a name out there that they don't follow through with. So I would say, and
you're
that's
probably getting J.K.
scenario.
on a pretty friendly deal, you know, considering his history with injuries.
Oh, he's already said he has no interest and does not want to play he wants to come back to Denver. Like, that's his only like he's focused on it. So I think that's going to be pretty much a done deal. And then the other thing here is Peyton did make a comment, which I think is important, actually, which is due to the kind of unforeseen large success this year for the Broncos, that they see the team having a bullseye on their back within the NFL, so they are being even more diligent than they would otherwise be, as a result, where they're really trying to focus on all of the little small details. So, all in all, I actually was quite impressed with the details and the yes, you're right. This is correct.
Yep.
This is correct.
Pro day.
So
Pro
all
days
of,
is what?
I know that like the Chargers, a lot of the guys they sign, the players they sign are like, I had no interest. I had no, like, they talked to me for 30 seconds, and then next thing you know, I'm getting drafted by them. They like play this. They're super secretive. He's especially this new regime these last 2 years. Like, oh, how'd you know the Chargers interested you? I don't know. I just talked to them, and that was it. And then boom.
I mean, and that's another thing. It's like Mendoza's like, I'm not going to throw here. There's no reason to do that. He goes,
he's not out there.
I'm going to throw in my pro day so that my guys can get a look.
That's,
you know what I mean? So, and he straight out said that. He goes, the only reason I'm not throwing at the combine because I'm going to save myself to have my best stuff in Bloomington when I throw to my guys.
Man, I'm hoping some of these quarterbacks, Nav. I'm hoping some of these quarterbacks, Nav, like put a really good showing out because I would like to get a couple more quarterbacks drafted. You know, because right now, it's like one quarterback, maybe two going in this first round.
Simpson probably is going to go in the first. Probably late though. Around the Steelers time frame, my guess would be 21st. I think it is 21st, 26th. Something like 21st, I think, is what it is.
I'd like to have.
Simpson's probably going to go to the Steelers. I'm just throwing that out there. Hot take. Simpson's going to go to the Steelers in the first round. But other than that, I mean, Dante Moore went back to college, which he should have. He went back and it took his last year, which he should, because he looked like crap at the end of the year.
Is this the last year that we see the super old prospects coming out of college?
Yeah, the COVID thing's done.
It's because it's like, what, 6 years is the only way. Yeah.
The only thing you can get a second year, at this point, second year medical red shirt is if you walk in the door and you're injured and can't start the season. Then you can actually have your red shirt the following year, which would be 6 years.
There's a guy that I'm really interested in, and I think he'd be more of like a mid-round guy. He was an edge rusher for Chris O'Leary, our new DC at Western Michigan, but he's 26 going in the draft.
Yeah, right.
26. Like,
yes.
we got Thule, you know, the other edge. He was 20 when he signed with the Chargers.
Yep.
You're gonna get a 26-year-old. Like, I mean, he did JUCO. He did some JUCO path, which I don't hate that. I think JUCO's great.
But you think about it, typically most of those players are quarterbacks that when they're in a class, that there's so many players way above them. This is a weird draft class. Mendoza is so much better of a prospect than anyone even close to in this one. You know what I mean? Next year, I'm not saying they're going to be better than Mendoza. I'm just going to say they're going to be lumped closer together.
There's going to be more next year.
Yes.
I've heard different arguments that, you know, everybody's, you know, because of Manning. So Arch Manning's coming out supposedly next year.
Draft by name and get the failure Hall of Fame.
It's pretty hard to argue with, like, the intangibles with Mendoza, like his size, what he just did.
I mean,
yeah.
He doesn't get hurt. He gets his ass handed to him and pops up, shakes it off, puts some dirt on it. Let's go. Yeah. You know, like to me, like size wise, Justin Herbert. That's size wise. That's same kind of.
I'd say Josh Allen. Josh Allen's shorter and more stockier build than Herbert is.
Right, but I mean, I think Herbert Josh
Herbert's
Allen.
6'6". Josh Allen, I think, is like 6'4", if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, so he's 6'5", so he's right in, kind of
Okay.
in between there.
Yeah.
But I mean, Josh Allen's got that, like, his legs are amazing.
Yeah.
So that's why I kind of put him more like size wise and kind of intangible wise in Justin Herbert thing. In that perspective, the problem with Justin Herbert is he has never had any semblance of weapons or any protection at all. And
It went downhill after Corey Linsley. They
neither one of these two quarterbacks have had any help at all on their offensive lines.
Yeah,
at all.
He had Justin had a brief moment.
But he wasn't.
COVID
but he
year.
wasn't ready. But he wasn't ready yet. That's the thing. He wasn't the quarterback he is now.
He looked pretty damn good. He was pretty fearless.
I'm just saying. Saying that he's better now than he was then.
Sure.
And now he doesn't have the protection and stuff that he needs. And Josh Allen definitely does not have a weapon anywhere on the field.
Yeah, that's true. And Josh Allen's center, McGovern, who is my second favorite center coming up.
He's a free agent.
That's the guy that everybody's like, come on down. And then you got Cade May. You got a couple. There's like 4 guys that are kind of. But it's Linderbaum, Lindy. He's the cream of the crop, and we'll see what happens.
McGovern was a Denver cast-off.
Yep.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, yep. Absolutely. I was about to mention that. I was like,
you have a couple. Look at Lloyd Cushenberry, who just got released. McGovern. There's a few of these guys that have played for Denver who have. I don't know if they've elevated their play somewhere else or maybe are.
So what is it? The Jets can't develop a quarterback, but the Broncos can't develop an offensive line.
No, the Broncos can. Now they can. They're freaking.
Oh, who's Whataburger? Who's that guy?
That's Richie's best friend. He just doesn't.
Oh, he loves Whataburger. Whataburger.
Oh, what a bagel! What a bagel!
Yeah. Someone needs to get him. Get him his jersey.
Richie, I don't know if you're done talking about the Broncos, but there was a great question up here. I'd like if you'll indulge me, that I think it was an amazing question, and I already have my 2 answers as soon as I saw it. Let's see, where'd it go? It was.
Hold on. Randy, if I had my druthers, sorry, real quick. If I had my druthers on Justin Strnad, I would prefer not to bring him back. There's a few things with Justin. He's going to want a bag because he never got a ton of money, and he's going to want to get signed for max dollar. Yeah. And in fairness, look, this year was his best year by far, and credit where credit's due. Like, good on him. Like, I'm not going to.
Who had a bad year on that defense?
Yeah.
Not hard, buddy.
but my thing here is I'm not willing to try to go and break the bank to bring him back into the Denver Broncos, and I think he's worth probably more to us at this point as a comp pick because we got Karene Reed, and we have the other guy, Jordan. Is it Hunter? Jordan Turner. Sorry, Jordan Turner. In the wings at the inside linebacker position, which I think are well positioned to take over for Strnad. And then if you bring back Singleton as like a leader / coach on the field, and then bring in another guy or 2 in the draft, I think you're going to be totally fine at the inside linebacker position. Sorry, where's this question you want me to bring up?
Okay, so Randy and Broncos, 9 p.m. on the dot. If you guys were able to poach 1 player from each of your teams, which 2 players would it be? I already have my 2.
Ooh. Okay, so we'll just do these 2 teams. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I got it.
What do you think, Richie? What do you got?
I'm going to write it down.
So for me, I'd want Crosby from the Raiders. No, I take that back. I think there's enough defensive talent. I would probably want JPJ from the Raiders as a center.
Yep. I
because he's got look, my answer is going to be on either the defensive line or the offensive line. Let's just be honest. Like, let's be real, okay? Like, it is no secret that that's my jam. And so I think JPJ is probably the dude that I would poach from the Raiders, and Max Crosby, he would be, I'm coin flipping at that point between the two. I think we need a center that is more aggressive. I think we need a center that can be a mauler in the run game, to set a tone on the offensive side of the ball for the team. And I believe JPJ can be that guy. Now, the reason why I started off my gut reaction was Max Crosby is we also need a rushing guy that can rush from the interior on my defensive line, especially with what is inevitably going to be the loss of John Franklin Myers.
Yep.
John Franklin Myers had a great season last year for us, but he did have games that he was eliminated from or taken out of off and on. Max Crosby never gets taken out of games, so you want someone like that who can rush up the interior. Yeah, and a motor, exactly. Reminds me a lot of Derek Wolfe in terms of the motor.
I remember him.
So from the Raiders, you're taking JPJ.
Yes.
Okay, so which one are you going to poach from the Chargers? That's what the
Amari
question
Hampton.
was.
So he's going after needs, because I was going to be like, he's not going to go left tackle because he had the best left tackle in the league last year, and Garrett Bowles. So, yeah. Hampton after one. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm looking at it from a purely practical perspective. I don't like your D line is great, and I liked a couple guys on your D line, but I felt that one of the reasons. It's not that they're not elite, because I think when they all played together, they were amazing. Like, they were a great unit when they played together. Yeah. But they also have to fit within the scheme that they're playing within, and I'm just not convinced that a Vance Joseph scheme that we currently have is a good fit for a lot of your linemen, and therefore they would not translate well to my team. So again, like I said, I'm going to go lines first. Now, if I'm going to be honest, like, I really like Joe Alt. Like, I totally take him and say yes, please.
Put him on the other side or something. Who's your right tackle?
McGlinchey.
Just have him replace McGlinchey.
Yeah, I mean, I could absolutely be convinced to replace McGlinchey with Alt and be quite content with my decision to do so, and have no regrets of doing that either. However, when I'm looking at the players that are on your team and where I would rank my team's needs if I'm going to poach, because again, this is about poaching a player.
I'm doing wants.
This is about poaching a player.
Sure.
Yeah. I think that Amari Hampton is a guy that would be a goal line for my team. He does pass catching, running out of the backfield, pass pro because of his size. And he fits a role and a mold that my team does not have at the running back position. And we sorely missed it this year. You saw the running game.
This is hypothetical. This is wishful thinking, Jack Kenna. This is a question that you asked weeks ago. This isn't, we're not doing.
If you could poach whoever, it doesn't matter if they're on a rookie deal. It doesn't make a shit.
Jack's like, JPJ's under contract.
Somebody asking the question or in the chat, and I found it interesting. Yeah. So your two is which one for me?
JPJ Raiders, Hampton from the Chargers.
Okay. So DZ, what you got?
Well, okay, from the Raiders, for me, this is easy. One of my favorite players is Brock Bowers. I would pair Brock Bowers with Rondé Gasson.
Could have called that a heartbeat.
Yeah, I just he is such an effing weapon, man, and he's so young still, and it's just I can see this guy being in the Hall of Fame, And then I would second close would be JPJ. There's no disrespect to Max, but I like Max Crosby, but I love JPJ as well. I love his mentality. He wants to kill people, and I think that JPJ would actually work in two schemes. I think he would be a good power guy or a wide zone type. And then from the Broncos, it's definitely Surtain. Easy. You're coming here, and you're just going to lock down one side. And then the second guy would be Benito, but Benito probably pissed a lot of the fan base off in his last game, but I still like him. And it would be Cooper. I'd have been fine with Cooper too, but Benito's speed on the edge is, you can't really coach speed, kind of that thing. And I think in a 3-4 scheme that the Chargers run, that speed on that edge is it's nasty. Just getting after dudes. Great. Those are my two.
Okay. So your two are your number ones, not your the secondary. So your number one is from the Raiders.
Bowers.
Bowers.
And
your
then
number
Surtain.
one from the Broncos is
Surtain.
Yeah. So it's pretty easy for me. I want Alt from you, DZ, and I want Surtain from you, Richie. And we'll just call it a day.
Yeah.
Call it a day. Just call it a day. So, and there you go.
I'm thinking of look, I know the Chief guy. We don't have a Chief, but I think the Chiefs I would take probably I also like Creed Humphrey over there.
I like from the Chiefs. I probably wouldn't. Between you two, I think the two that I picked right there would be the two that I would poach. If I could just go get them, say, yep, you're on the Raiders. Yep, you're on the Raiders. I mean, other than the quarterback, which I think all of us were kind of like, quarterback's not a thing. I mean,
I think Bronco fans really love Bo Nix.
So I got a question, though. Richie, would you trade Bo Nix for Justin Herbert? Like a one-time deal. Just done. Would you? Would you do that?
Veto that.
Wow. Never even thought about that too.
I'm vetoing that anyways. And that's not happening. You guys can keep Bo up there.
No, but would you? But would you? Is the question.
Do I keep my same coaching staff?
What? That better not be true.
One player, just trade one for the other. Just the two quarterbacks get traded. Would you do it? Nothing.
Yeah,
nothing,
probably.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I would have lost a lot of respect for you if you did.
Yeah, because I think that once I think a guy honestly, if we had Herbert on the team, the one thing Herbert has struggled with is the clutch gene stuff in terms of in those tough spots where he, for whatever reason, well, actually, I know for a lot of reasons, probably because of injuries is actually the main reason. But once you move past that, I think that Sean Payton has the ability to coach up his quarterbacks in particular to get over those pressure situations. And I think that Sean Payton with Justin Herbert could actually take him rest of the way.
We'll see. We'll see with Mike McDaniel this year. We'll see with Mike McDaniel this year. If Justin gets some easy outs with what they did, take Tua's whatever out. They were one of the least teams to give up pressures these last couple of seasons. And if they can do that in LA, not giving up a ton of pressures where Justin's got somebody coming right up his dry humping him up and down the field, every 5 seconds. And then him having an easy out, like
That's
you know,
hilarious.
somebody scheming up something, you know, then why not? Because, you know, frankly, he had to go YOLO ball
Hey,
most of
hold
his
on. Hey,
most
hold
of his
on.
career. What?
Paul, we're talking hypotheticals. What if you could poach any player from any team in the AFC West? You had one each. You know
Paul
what I mean?
seems to like Bo. He likes Bo Nix. I
He's
don't
like,
know.
wait, what? Shooter
And
got
this guy
traded?
up here said
Yeah,
that
he's
Brown
like,
just
what?
traded Shador for Bijan. Like, Bijan's worth 3 Shadors, in my opinion.
Well, he's worth all the Shadors that ever existed. Bijan Robinson? Come on, bro.
Bijan's probably, oof. I would say he's, what do you think he's, I think he's probably going to be the best back in the league next season.
What if you, so look, put this in a scenario. Genty and Omari and Hampton in a split back. How do you cover that?
That'd be nasty.
I mean, how do you? With Bowers and Mike Mayer in a 12 personnel. You know,
Somebody just came in here and dropped a rumor, and I'm falling for it. Thank you, John, whoever you
what
are.
is freaking stupid. I mean, I'm sorry, but somebody put it in the chat and it started a whole waterfall. So
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Well, I mean, I think those are like, look, those are always interesting hypotheticals, and I think the whole point of the show is that we kind of follow each other's teams probably more than others in the league, and then it's interesting to kind of apply what our opponents are capable of doing and like using it to like backfill what our own team's weaknesses are, right? Like
Yeah.
the other thing I will say as well is like from knowing what I see with Surtain on the back end of the Broncos defense is whoever's on the other side is freaking toast, man. They're done.
John, are you speaking hypotheticals? Like, what are you talking about? Was he playing the game with us, but in his own world? Like, what's going on?
I think so.
I think he's playing in Brown's world, which is not a good world.
Because I would make that trade every day of the week.
Watson?
Yeah.
No, I would. I mean, the Shador for Bijan. Watson? Yeah, I don't know if Penix is the deal, right? Like, and then
but
I think the Falcons said they're not bringing back Kirk Cousins.
Right, but Watson and Bijan on the Browns, you smell playoffs.
Their whole O-line's a free agent, so they got to bring back their whole offensive line.
Right, but how do you smell playoffs with just Bijan Robinson popping in the door? And Cleveland.
No.
Richie, you said something earlier, and I forgot to talk about it. We were talking about like sacks or I don't know, something about that. But there was a fact that I found out. Back-to-back Super Bowl winners, like it was the Seahawks and then the Eagles. Nobody on either defense had like more than 10 sacks. It was more of a group thing for both these defenses that won the Super Bowl, which is kind of interesting.
Broncos had the same thing.
So that's kind of something interesting to think about, like where guys are like, man, homeboy here had 14 sacks, kind of thing, and like nobody else has anything kind of deal. So it's you're seeing these roster construction of like nobody's elite, but then they're all like upper tier across the board.
Yeah. One, this is John Connor was saying, come on, Watson, Bijan, and Browns, I smell playoffs. Well, the reason he smells playoffs because he's a Bucs fan.
I got you.
If Bijan's not on the Falcons, then the Bucs go to the playoffs.
He had me jump on Twitter. I'm on X and like searching for this. I'm like, no way did this really just happen.
But John Connor, I will riddle me this: Rico Dowdle, Bijan Robinson, who had the better stats last year? Rico Dowdle for the Panthers or Bijan Robinson, who had the better stats overall as a running back? Pretty close. Just saying. And that's Rico Dowdle. I'm just saying. Be careful. Careful what you ask for. You still got to deal with a Dowdle, according to my wife. You got to deal with Dowdle.
So I think we've covered off all the stuff that we have right now at the combine. I think what's going to be
Yeah.
really interesting is to kind of continue on this chain and kind of look at who we interviewed, all that kind of stuff, and go from there. But that'll do it for the show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us. Channels are down below. Thanks for that.
Just
You got to
throw 'em
warn
on.
us, Nav. Damn it.
Yeah, I couldn't even take off the earphones, man. But anyways, all the channels for all the other folks here are down below. Let's go ahead and get in everyone's channel. Those who are joining us here, click those like buttons and subscribe. Get all of these channels out to more NFL fans and AFC West fans just like you. And we will be back next week talking more of the AFC West, combine, coaches, players, potential
Underwear
scheme
Olympics,
fits,
baby.
and the underwear Olympics will be in full swing at that point. In full swing, ladies and
Nose
gentlemen,
upper
where the
half,
West side is
so-
the best side.
Yep.
Peace.
Fast lane when I pass in the street, bag of money in the passenger seat. Simcoe's been asking for me on the road from the west to the east. Way up, I might never come down, cause the coast racking up the flight miles. So high, I might never come down, so what, this is my lifestyle. Wait a minute,